and it's really starting to rain now. All right, so I'm going away on a trip this weekend. Bringing the kit with me. I have the standard loadout of kit that I've covered before in my What's in My Bag series. For years, you guys have seen, I've been carrying around this IRIX 15mm Firefly lens just to, capture any of my super wide angle type shots. This is an EF mount lens, so I've had to put an RF adapter on it in order to fit my Canon R5. Recently, or not so recently, I had picked up the Canon RF 16mm f2.8 STM. I had taken it out of the box one time, and taken a few test shots. The test shots didn't really come out that great, but it was something that I wanted to explore further. This is just a light weekend, running away for a quick getaway to take a break from work. I figured I would bring this with me because it's going to be a little bit lighter than this.
Still.
So as you can see, there's a significant difference between this and this. The weight difference is obviously a lot more too. So now I have a big open space here in my camera bag that I'll put a partition into, so that way I can fit my card readers, external drives, and everything else like that. So I'm going to take this 16mm f2.8 with me and hopefully get some firework shots, some wide landscapes, and see how it performs. So this is going to be a video of, let's see kind of what comes out of this. So let's see how it goes. Why did I come to Central Florida in August to film parts of this video? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, this was a pre-planned vacation, pre-planned getaway that my wife and I had already put on the books, and I figured it would be a good opportunity to be in a nice controlled environment to help show you the benefits of having a wide-angle lens like this. Obviously, as you can tell, it's raining a little bit, so we're going to improvise a little. I brought this with me, and I'm basically doing a one lens challenge for the weekend to try to see what I can do with this 16mm f2.8 from Canon. The benefits of having a wide angle lens like this, especially when doing any type of photography, whether it be like now theme park photography or even landscape photography especially, is you can show a lot of grand vistas with your wide angle lens that you would not be able to do with a standard 24-70 or 24-105. Once you get below 24mm, you're going to get much wider of a field of view to be able to capture things. That gives you a couple of options and a couple of advantages that you can work with while taking your shots. You can get a lot more of the landscape in there. You can get a lot more of a leading line, whether it be a stream or a river or even a pathway leading into a particular area. You could also use that as an advantage when taking photos of something particularly tall or vast to be able to show the depth or distance of an object. Much like you would do the opposite with your telephoto lens, where you compress your scenes, your wide angle lens does the opposite. It helps you expand your scene more, gives you a lot more length and distance that you can use to help tell your story. So other things that we'll talk about with this particular lens that was actually particularly handy for this trip is the fact that, and I think that was a little bit of lightning, but the thing that was really handy about this is, as you can see, this is a pretty small lens that's attached to the camera, so it actually helps make the kit a little bit lighter and easier to carry around and maneuver, especially in a situation, even though that it is controlled here at a theme park. I wonder if you can hear that thunder. That's pretty cool. But even though it is somewhat controlled in a theme park, even though that we have the rain going on, having something that's a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, I can shove this into a bag real quick and protect it from the rain. The nice thing about the Canon R5 is that it's also weather sealed, so it will put up with a little bit of rain. So having it be a little bit lightweight, having it be a lot more portable and easier to carry around makes it easier to do things. So if you're looking for something that's wide for your trips or any other kind of like road trips or anything like that, having something of this size also is helpful. The last two things that I'm actually going to go over really doesn't have anything to do with being here at the theme park, but The last two things about having a prime lens and a wide angle with a wide aperture is the prime lenses tend to be a lot sharper and a lot clearer than your zoom lenses. There's less elements that will help distort and create your image as you're working along. But also having that wider aperture also gives you the opportunity to have a lot better low light performance with the lens as you're working with it. So having this lens with me has actually been really beneficial. And actually up to this point, I've taken a few pretty awesome shots around the parks. And when I get home, I'll take a few other shots around town just to help illustrate that. So thinking of, or speaking of going home, since it's raining, I think it's time that we go get dried off and take this home and see what we got. So over the course of a few days while I was away and then coming home, I was able to process and finish 42 photos that I had captured with this lens. Only one of them actually out of that group was not taken with this lens. So I'll be showing those as we're going along here. So to start off with, I'm going to give you a couple of quick pros and cons. The pros are pretty obvious and straightforward. The pros are the fact that the lens is very lightweight, very small, very versatile. It's got a little switch on the side of the lens that allows you to switch between using the ring to either focus or as the control ring that you're going to find on RF lenses. The last thing that I noticed that I really like is that there's very little warping that happens in the wide angle of this lens. I captured a couple of portraits with it, and you would never know that I was using a 16mm lens to capture these portraits, except for the subjects themselves, because I was actually pretty close to them when taking them with the wide angle lens. It's a little bit awkward. So the downside to this lens, and there really aren't that many downsides, one of the things that I've noticed is that under very low light conditions, this lens is not quite as sharp as I'd like it to be. And its performance really isn't as good as the IRIX lens in those situations, but overall is very satisfactory. The other downside is I've noticed is when shooting in really bright light or shooting towards the sun or a light or any other kind of light source, I get a little bit of a purple hue in the image. Not necessarily a lens flare per se, but definitely a little bit of a chromatic aberration that pops up in the image. These are easy to edit out, easy to take care of, but if you're not as well versed in editing, this could be a problem. And overall, at the end of it, it does have a lot of versatility to it. It does create a good image. It is definitely useful in a lot of these cases, and I'll definitely keep this as part of my kit for when I do need to lighten the load a little bit, or if I want to do another single lens challenge, like basically as I've done over the course of creating this video. I really do enjoy using this lens, and like I said, it's really nice to have something that's lightweight, portable, and easy to use. The last couple of images I'm going to show you, these are just images that I had taken while out on a walk with a couple of friends. No camera bag, no tripod, no crazy filters or anything like that. Just the camera, some friends, having a nice time. So the lens is really handy for that. If you need something that's going to be in that wide angle range and easy to use with a Canon RF mount camera, this is definitely a lens that will fill the gap for you. So that's about it. Thank you very much for coming along with me on this and watching this video. I know I've been on a little bit of a hiatus for the last few months. I'd like to apologize for that. There is going to be more content coming soon. I'm working on putting my schedule back together, so some of the posting might be every other week instead of every week coming up. But I really do appreciate everybody that's been following me along on this journey, everybody that has stuck through this hiatus. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to check out the rest of the content on my channel. Like and subscribe if you like what you see here, because there is definitely some more coming. And like I said, I really do appreciate everybody's support, and I'll definitely see you again next time. I'll see you soon.